Well, it's the top 25. We're exiting the Nuna A, or the Doodah, yeah, that AA, that AA, and Kevin Maloney round. They say the Nays, Grateful Dead, they're all in a bygone era. It includes Dave Matthews, Fish, Widespread Panic. They all nay. Just look at, well, not really an oblong jaw lay or anything. He are all hot shit to replace the music industry, according, well, see, they're kind of like constituents. And they're in the DNA liaison in rock and roll. Kevin Maloney are blast off. They say tear everything down from the aisle you on. Man Reno 2017. November, Nobel AA issuance. Iowa State, you are now an all AU. And they continually assuage beyond 800,000. Well, Doodles are wonder why they're underground coca dealers anymore. Uh, Lack of class and dignity, suggesting 95 whole, even beforehand. Saying I'm under they're falling down to 13th in the land or else. Who's below? The Misfits in NCAA college basketball. Number 25, St. John's. Defeated earlier this year. They're man renowned. They're A. Paul Pelagasi or whatever the Ron Petito are. They are. They're 15-5. Looks like 22-14. They'll even make the NCAA. Number 24, Miami, Ohio. What's coming out of Miami right now is a bunch of Ann Mystique. They say they had on Ann Arbor, and they still are. That's Eastwick. They say they ran all the Wicca Moon on a roll yet. Number 23, Alabama, 13-6. Man renowned. That's Russell or Runnell on a Davis Sunny Error Moon around. Then Hole. They say I on or you all are, and they look at each other and say, fine, we're on. They've got AA Pinio, and they're in Loke. Include Owen, Runnell, Ane, Davis Sunnier, Mo, and James A. Well, he's not that high or else, no. They're having a hard time staying IA itinerary down there from a bunch of fiasco that Matthew A. Campbell are. Number 22, Clemson. Clemson are ran roll right after to you. They say they knee in on Barbara A. Hauser, Bolan, they're Brooke A. Mandeline or Mandeline. So they're that age of Adeline, and I was a widespread panic. The whole it's just a doll. She wanders out to California every hour saying, are they on? They hand no. It's Ann and I date. We've been dating and are married according to the all. I have a license for that. And anyway, in Maiden Law Firm in Clemson, South Carolina area. Next, 21, St. Louis. And they say that Charlie Weiselberger or whatever, rambling out of the Bano belt. They have an Eric Bana and they're all Bano. That's Charlie Spoonhour type of handle that Illinois 20 wins or we're on. Where's the move south and say they come from Kentucky. Number 20, Louisville, 14-5. They're expected to be 14-8 right now. It looks like they might even have 20 wins before they have 8 losses. Again, they're Ezra, Rick Pitino, A. Laboratoria, or whatever, thinking about the GOLU, about $1,100 in AA sequence in a semester, and they say, oh, well, all the players are $100,000 every. About club sport, they'll start calling it club sport, just to define and say, well, you're a club there, you're not really an academic. And that's what they are. They're penumbra. The higher honor they attain in the NCAA men's basketball A program is penumbra on. So they'll sit in the class if they're a club sport. It's not a worthwhile education level of grades just to make more. That's where they audit a class, just business acumen, Number 19, Florida. 14-6. We've seen them on TV. That's the defending national champion. They could be dangerous in the tourney in March. Well, we're not to speak of the nope. Vanderbilt, number 18, 17-3. That new now. They say yippee dawn ow. I can't find any dawn in name. Vanderbilt or Suplas. Sue the Palazzo and say it's not really on. We saw them in football. They did that all year. Moon on a early end. Virginia, that's Vavani. Moon's around. I know. On a early air on. Number 16, North Carolina. Everything we've seen of North Carolina with 4 losses at the end of January is every time that is, they have any chance of having 5 losses for the season, include to Duke at the end of the ACC tourney and then into the NCAA. They show about a seed once in a while. Number 2 behind Duke in the ACC, Virginia have been giving them a run, and they're right on top of that right now. Look at Virginia, they're John O'Brien. Look at North Carolina, say they're Ray Roy Williams. And John W. Williams said, what is the Prince William? They're trying to override you in a bunch of, it's in Oskaloosa. Well, I can't find them on right there. They might have 10 losses by the end of the ACC tourney. Arkansas, 15-5. William Jefferson Clinton. Out of Ozark Mania, there are another 10 losses running into the tourney. Kansas, another 10 losses. We faced them. They say they're on the order of number 1 any and every hour, and then Malance, Taman Lipsy, that's just B game. We heard it on the Ray. That was earlier. Well, that's 2-3 weeks ago now. 2 weeks ago. Yeah. See, well, we are. They say they're on schedule in Kansas for about 21-8. That leaves them at about 23-10, 23-9. They're just not aware of our A game or else. BYU, another team not really aware of how to act or behave. We find they say they're the Collingwoods that ran out of town and just can't fire it, and they couldn't find them on 7,000 years, and they say they know they're just another Collingwood from 11 AD or 1211 AD, 211 and 311. They say that's all they are, and they just ran. They ran from everyone in the United States and North America as well. They are. They seem. Purdue 17-3. That's down 8 notches there in the top 25. It's the AP. Purdue, Ramalama Dink. Well, West Virginia Mountaineers are now on. They say they're on the order of 12th. And looking at Purdue, whether they're Erica, Kirk, Simon Simpson, or whatever the Sue Latterly all are, they're saying they thought they were on, and just, that's kind of 24th in the land, if not 36th run. Number 11, Texas Tech. Boaz 9. They say they are. They're Shailene. They are NRU. There's looking at them, say they're Andy Woodley. Whether Craig or Garth are aware anymore. Um, that's not really you in the University of Iowa format, or else, because you're 14 years behind anyone and everyone in the NCAA. You know, I've heard rumor me that are more serious contention than the University of Iowa allow. They're not. You're a bunch of. Well, Garth, you're a man. Look, that's 14 years ago, you and Craig. So I'm gearing up for 2012. And look, you're all under Mr. Dieter. Nunes varieties. You're, for some reason, you're an Aclamana, though Nunes variety. Now, we had you in a starting whistle versus the Gay Men's Choir. About 14 of you. What have you done since that? Number 10, Houston. Maine Doll. What's a herring or doll with an Abraham Braun Maine? Say they're Houston. Just the Longhorns are it. Well, thousand years ago, Pantyma. And Collingwood S. They're on anyway in Houston as well. They're not in Confederates. Just in the West. Michigan State, number 7. Are they better than Houston? Iowa State's above Houston. That's real. Now where are they? Well, we'll find them. Illinois, they're man renowned. They're AA Wolverton, Mansorel. Say Taman. Is that on? Taman Lipsy. Well, yeah. So, Gonzaga, number 6. They played about 0-3 teams and lost to 1. Moon. Nebraska, 20-0. The basic white man powerhouse. Say they're all loyal to Chicago and say anyone can play because he can. He's just an. Iran. They're above us a horse knee. They say they're a big man with all. I'm wearing on an 107 Nike No. Now who's on? All right. Oh, there's a big buzzer right here. Duke. They're not at the under level they're at when they beat the Cyclones by 53 points at the United Center in Chicago. They need about 2 more losses to not dick in the ass. Michigan. Well, they're on and on in a June Jarl, Michael A.J. Andrews. They're one to beat. Their Final Four material. Say that about Nebraska, but that's not really on. They think they are, and they're kind of. I like to say Iowa State or Plez compared to Nebraska. It'll bite them though. UConn 1981 American Street Ball. Well, they're below Arizona for some reason. I can't find crackadictory pattern in Arizona or anything. They're all their blonde hairs, and they just say they dick it do. They just range out of a bar all arm in arm, and they say, "Aren't we the Noi?" That just error prone they are. They wander in making mouse cue. They got a big bulldozer in the side of a building, and they realize it's not really on. The building's going to collapse on them. That's the Kevin Maloney sophomore year of under high school. That's Mo. That's not really on. Arizona needed about 2 or 3 losses right in a row. And as far as the Hawkeyes or the Cyclones, Iowa State 18-2. It looks like 3 or 4 losses even to the end of the Big 12 tournament. good luck to you all. On regards, and Bon D, Hawkeye Mano Sanction.